26 वर्षीय इंजीनियर को नई साल में मिला नया हाथ। ट्रेन दुर्घटना में गंवाया था हाथ। परेल स्थित ग्लेनिगल्स अस्पताल में हुई हाथ प्रत्यारोपण सर्जरी। मुंबई ट्रेन दुर्घटना में हाथ गंवाने के बाद अब नई साल में एक 26 वर्षीय इंजीनियर को नया हाथ मिला है। परेल स्थित ग्लेनिगल्स अस्पताल के प्लास्टिक, हाथ पुनर्निर्माण, माइक्रो सर्जरी और प्रत्यारोपण विभाग के प्रमुख डॉक्टर नीलेश सतभाई और उनके टीम ने मिलकर यह सर्जरी की है। यह अस्पताल का 13वां सफल हाथ प्रत्यारोपण सर्जरी है, जिससे मरीजों के जीवन की गुणवत्ता में सुधार के लिए अब तक कुल 24 हाथ प्रत्यारोपित किए जा चुके हैं।
Good afternoon, everyone. My friends from media, welcome to Gleneagles Hospital, Parel, Mumbai. This is not new for all of us, sitting here and talking about hand transplants happening in this place. Now we all know that this is the one-stop destination when it comes to doing these kind of complex surgeries, not only in city of Mumbai but all across the nation, and I can take liberty and say around the world as well. With Dr. Nilesh Sadbhai and his team, making sure that whatever comes their way in terms of complications or whatever comes their way in terms of challenges, they are able to kind of make sure with their expertise and with the challenges that they face, give a new lease of life to people who definitely deserve more. And we have an example of Ritik here sitting just in the middle of the dais. Of course, he's highly qualified, and his grit and determination are unparalleled. Just to be without two hands for so many years, and again completing his graduation, being engineering, and then being an inspiration, wait with patience for getting hand transplantation done. I think it's really, really commendable. Ritik, I think he deserves a big round of applause. So, if it was not for him and if it was not for the parents, I don't think we would have been able to actually do it. So also is the donor who has actually given the consent, and the family of the donor who have given the consent for getting the transplant done. Because if you don't have donor, recipient is just waiting. And rest above, Dr. Nilesh Sadbhai and his team. All of us know, he's pioneered this art and across length and breadth of the city, breadth of the country. He's made us and the whole medical fraternity proud by doing these complex cases and turning out very, very successful results. So congratulations to Dr. Sadbhai. A big round of applause for him as well. So glad. We really feel proud sitting in the same on the same dais and talking about it. And at Gleneagles Hospital, we are all committed as the destination, not only for hand transplant, but all of you all know that this place is known for all transplants, be it liver, lung, kidney, intestine, pancreas, so on and so forth. And we take pride in talking about good things, because it's not that we just want to gain popularity by doing that, but to spread the knowledge, to spread amongst people that whatever you think of is possible. Only thing is you need to be guided very well, and that's the reason all of you all are here. I hope the message goes loud and clear everywhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you. He is also the director of hand transplant and BCA program at our hospital. I would like sir to say a few words.
Very good afternoon to all of you. I thank you all for being here as a part of celebration of Ritik's successful surgery, and I'm happy that all of you keep coming back to us on every occasion that we have celebrated in the past as well. Hand transplant now has gained quite firm roots in the country, and the system has really streamlined pretty well, especially in our hospital, where as we know, as we have discussed in the past as well, that this is a major complex procedure. It requires multidisciplinary support. It requires support from multiple departments, multiple professionals, in order to make this process successful. Equally important is the support of the nursing staff, of the ICU staff, of the hospital management, of the logistics that are involved, the ambulances which make sure that the organs reach to us in time, the airport authorities, the police professionals who help us in creating green corridors and transporting organs from distant places. All these people perform or coordinate in sync with each other in order to help us achieve these successful outcomes. And without them, these programs would not have achieved what they have done today. So I wish to express my sincere gratitude and thank you to all of you, all these people involved in this program. Coming to Ritik's case is another special case for all of us, especially because all transplant patients are associated with a unique story of for themselves. There is a social element to it, there is an emotional element to it, there is a psychological element to it. Because hands are extremely special, and we realize the importance of hands only after we lose them. We take our daily activities for granted for multiple reasons. We do not really appreciate the importance of hands in our lives. And in spite of not being a life-saving surgery, hand transplants have always created a great impact socially, emotionally, psychologically, because it dramatically changes somebody's life completely. So Ritik unfortunately met with an accident a few years back, and he had to lose both his arms. We'll listen more about it from him. But he showed the grit to complete his education, to secure a job, to work independently, to support his family, and then to have the determination to undergo a transplant in order to rehabilitate himself and to look at life in a broader, bigger perspective, and to be able to do many more things in future with the new hands that he has got. So we'll listen more about it from Ritik himself. The challenges in a transplant at this level, typically at shoulder level transplants, I'll tell you the world perspective on this. That worldwide there are literally 3 or 4 patients who have undergone shoulder level transplants. That is because these transplants are more complex considering the amount of tissue that we are transferring from the donor to the recipient. That also makes it very time intense or time sensitive because we have a very short window within which the hands have to be retrieved from the donor and they have to be reattached to the recipient. Because ultimately function of all tissues in the body depends on blood circulation. So if the amount of tissue mass that we are transferring is more, then it is more critical that the blood circulation is restored earlier or it is restored within the stipulated time so that the tissues survive and they are able to function in the future. And that makes the situation more complex because more tissue getting added to the body in a very short span puts the body under tremendous stress. And that makes the post-operative management, the intraoperative anesthesia management, the intensive care management extremely challenging. And you literally have to do it on a war footing. You literally have to do it from a minute-to-minute monitoring and modifications in the treatment accordingly, so that the body is able to bear the stress of that tissue and it is able to maintain the blood circulation to the transplanted hands. It is able to sustain and it is able to support healing. And on top of that, what adds up is the immunosuppression, because all these patients have to be on immunosuppression, so that also has its impact on the body. And to monitor and titrate all these things is what adds up to the challenge. So that is why many units across the world do not prefer to do transplants above the level of the elbow. That is because it adds up to the challenges, it adds up to the risks. Fortunately enough, our program here in Gleneagles Hospital, we have already performed 7 total arm transplants in 4 patients till date. which is quite reassuring in terms of the outcomes and in terms of the efficiency of management that we have been able to carry out. So that is something unique which we must know because a transplant at a distal forearm level or a elbow level is much different. It is much simpler as compared to a transplant at a shoulder level. And also that determines is the recovery time, the rehabilitation time is that longer, and both the patient and the rehabilitation team has to be focused and motivated in order to achieve a good functional outcome. The point I would like to stress here today is again the importance of organ donation. We have been talking on this since over the last 8 years now. 4 years now since we did our first case. We are still struggling for organs. We are still struggling for hands. In all the 30 patients that have undergone transplants in Gleneagles Hospital, none of the donor has been from Mumbai or Maharashtra. All these donations have happened in states outside Maharashtra, which adds up to the time constraints, which adds up to the complexity, which adds up to the overall cost of treatment. And we want to make this treatment available to more and more deserving patients. And for that, to make it more and more cost effective is our goal. And that could happen if we have in-house donations, in-city donations, or donations within the state. So it is just a matter of awareness among health professionals as well, among the transplant coordinators as well. Because on one hand, when we see that the number of donors in the last year in Maharashtra has increased for liver or kidney, but then why are hands not being donated? So it is important that the awareness for hand transplants reaches to all the involved individuals, all the involved parties, and we are able to achieve more and more donations in our vicinity, which will help us to make these programs more economical, more sustainable, more viable. Thank you so much.
So before I start my story, I would say that the grit which I have, the determination which I have, directly comes from my parents. I still remember the day when I was lying at the hospital the day after my accident, and I was waiting for my parents to come. And when my dad saw me, the first thing which he said was, "चिंता मत कर बेटा, हम लोग तुम्हारे हाथ ही तो हैं और हमेशा रहेंगे." तो वहां से मुझे फील हुआ कि नहीं, अभी लाइफ में कुछ नहीं खोया है, बहुत कुछ पाना है, इनके लिए करना है और करके दिखाना है. Now going back to my story, first let's introduce to who I was before the accident, how I was as a kid. So in short, if I have to say how I was a pretty active kid. I was an all-rounder. I was doing everything which a kid can do. I was in sports, I was in music, I was involved in everything. And when this accident happened, the first thing which I thought is how I would survive, how I would go back to the life which I had. And yeah, things started messing up in my mind, but after seeing my parents are not willing to give up, that gave me strength. And I decided, not now, not tomorrow, but surely one day I'll go back to the life which I had, and I will prove my thoughts wrong, myself wrong. And yeah, I'm here right now, and finally I can say that I have my life back, and not now, but one day for sure after the recovery. Now starting with how this happened. So this was in 2016, and I was in Pune. I was traveling from Pune to Mumbai, and I boarded the train from Chinchwad station, and the train was too crowded, so I decided to stand at the gate, and that turns out to be the worst mistake of my life, you can say. And just when the train started to proceed, and there was another train coming from on a just nearby track. When it when it just reaches me, it blew horn, and with that horn, I lost my balance. I lost conscious for a second, and I fell in front of the train. And before I could realize anything, the train rushed over me, and yeah, I was not in the senses to do anything about it. After the train passed me, and I was all there all alone. I was So the first thing which I did there, I stand up, I looked at myself, and my right, I still remember my right hand was just laying in front of my eyes, and my left hand was dangling by skin. And yeah, the scene was shocking, but I said, okay, let's first get off the track and lay down somewhere. Someone will surely come to help me. And so that 10-15 minutes felt like eternity of time. And I waited. My whole 18 years of life. I can see whole my life in front of me in that 10-15 minutes of time. And I waited, but I didn't see anyone coming. So what I did, I stand up again. I started walking towards the station, so to seek help. And I saw a policeman there, and I started screaming like help, help, help. And when he saw me, he was shocked. He don't know how to react. So he first started running towards me, and then I realized, okay, so someone is coming. And then I sat down and waited for the ambulance to come. So yeah, that's how it happened. I stayed there in Pune hospital for like 25 days. All the amputations were done. I realized my both hands were gone. I thought they will do something to reattach. I mean, I didn't know if it was possible or not, but yeah, I thought first, but it was not possible. And yeah, so the next day my parents came and they gave me strength, and you know what, I realized I need to start doing things right now only. So the day after my parents came, I asked them for my phone. Like, give me my phone. I need to do something about it. And they gave me phone. I'm practicing using my phone with my feet, so that I can be independent as far as I can. But I wanted to be independent, so I started using my phone. On the hospital only, on the hospital bed only. And after that, I started getting up from the bed by myself. I started walking. I started doing some exercises in the hospital only. So everyone around me was giving me strength and asking me like everything will going to be okay. And yeah, so that's how the things went. So after I reached back my place back in Indore, so yeah, first week was very difficult for me because all the relatives, all the friends was coming to meet me, and I don't wanted to meet anyone at that point. And yeah, but just sitting at home was not my thing. And what I decided is I need to go back in the outside world. I cannot be at home forever. And that's when I asked my dad, like, let's visit college once and let's see how things can work out. So me, my dad, and one of my relative, we went to the college and asked authorities there how can we proceed from here. And I was fortunate enough that they say, why not you just come to college, do your studies like you used to do, like not worry about the notes, but do your things from your mind, and when it comes to exams, we'll figure out how things will go from there. And then I started going to college with the help of my friends. My college friends were very helpful. They never judged me on my on my disability, you can say, at that time. They always encouraged me. They always make me feel like I'm just like them, and they helped me with my daily shoots. I they also brought me lunch, extra lunch for me, and yeah. So how I did give my exam, I so the authorities gave me a separate room, and they also gave me a writer. So the things at first started. It at first feel difficult, but as I started completing every semester, it I felt more comfortable in that, and just semester by semester, and things went on. And once I finished my graduation, uh, I got the opportunity to interview for an IT company called, you must all be aware of, TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. And when I gave my interview there, they were so happy, they were so inspired by me. I still remember the words of my interview. They were like, you should definitely join TCS. You will be, we would love to have you. And that's when I decided my first company is definitely going to be TCS. I joined TCS. At first the location which I got was Pune again, and that's when I asked authorities there, like, can I get a transfer to Indore only, so that for my own convenience, to stay with my parents. And again, they were very helpful. They agreed. I stayed back in Indore. I started going to my office, and you know what? The friends or the colleagues which I got in TCS, I would say those are not colleagues. Those are my closest friends which I have ever got. They are still with me. You won't believe at the time of my admission, they all, the closest one, they all come here. Everyone was very far away from here, but they all came to see me. And I'm very it would be least to say that instead of colleagues, I got my family, extended family. And yeah, I started my career with them. And after I spent few years working in TCS, that's when I got to know, like, this hand transplant is a thing. And when I first read about hand transplant, I was like, I'm definitely going to get it. This is what I was waiting for. And just when I read about it, I tried to contact Gleneagles Hospital and tried to book an appointment with Dr. Nilesh himself. And so I got his appointment. I got on a call, and sir first, I introduced myself, and sir was like, definitely you should come visit us, and we'll see how things will go. And at first I was a bit hesitant, because I was in my own self-doubt, like, if I visit and if my body is not susceptible to this, my dreams will just crash down. So that was the first thought, and that's when my closest friend, I would like to name them, because they were the reason they pushed me to go visit and meet Dr. Nilesh. My closest friend Neha, and my school friend, long back friend Yash, and they said, like, we'll come with you, and let's come and visit, sir. And that's when it was November 22. That's when I meet Dr. Nilesh, and so did his inspection on me, and he said he suggested me hand transplant surgery, and he said it is definitely possible. That's when you can say my eyes lit up, and I was full of hopes again. And that's when I got to know like how I'll need to prepare myself, how I will need to do things to make sure this transplant gets successful. And after doing all the things that is necessary, I registered for the hand transplant in last year in July. And I was fortunate enough to that I got matching donor in less than 6 months of time. I mean, I would like to mention like this is definitely you can say a miracle, because finding a donor is just like how Nilesh mentioned is very tough. It's very rare nowadays, because the awareness of organ donation is needs to be shared across. And this is one thing that I would like to tell you all how important the organ donation is, because the time period, the waiting time is killing. I mean, the waiting time is like you have done everything. Now you are just waiting. And it's not like the people are not aware, but you only know the importance of how important this hand transplant I mean, this organ donation is when either you or someone very close to you are waiting for the organ. And today I would like to mention that I am pledging myself for the organ donation. Whatever I can, I will be doing. And I would like to ask everyone in this room to do the same, please. You won't know how things will go, but you will definitely giving happiness to the person receiving your organs after you are no longer present. And I would like to on this note, I would like to thank the donor who gave me this gift. I will be forever grateful to him and his family, and I'll cherish the gift he gave me forever. And now coming back to the transplant itself. So first few days were very scary when I got the hands. It was very scary, but things started getting back to normal. Once I saw my parents again from distance, I started getting my confidence back. Like, yeah, yes, finally, it's happening, and it's done. Now it's time to recover myself back. And once I'm shifted to ward, and once I have started seeing them more regularly, I started feeling more comfortable. And now when I'm discharged from the hospital, I'm getting comfortable day by day, and I started doing some movements as well on my hands, and I'm feeling like yes, this is what I've been waiting for, and this is already done. And it's just that I need to give myself, I need to recover, rehabilitate, give proper attention to medications, and surely one day I'll be back to the active Ritik which I was. And yeah, that was it. That is my story. And one more thing, I know the journey which I started on August 2nd, 2016 from Pune to Mumbai has finally completed today. I am in Mumbai. Thank you very much.
Immunosuppression is essential because the transplanted organ is always different from the recipient's original body. So for the body to be able to accept the transplanted organ, immunosuppression is essential and compulsory for all kinds of transplants.
And how is extensive rehabilitation when he has to undergo
Yes, the rehab depends upon the nerve recovery. So based on what level the transplant has been done, that will determine the time, how much it is going to take to recover. So for transplants at say wrist or forearm levels would recover in 4 to 6 months. At elbow they would recover in 6 to 9 months. Above elbow they would recover in say 1 year. At shoulder level they could take 1 to 1.5 year for complete rehab. So the exercises are typically taught based on the nerve recovery. So till then, the effort has to be on.
But does it require hospitalization for that?
No, no. It does not require any hospitalization. It just requires intermittent outpatient visits. So most important is the time, because the amount of time the tissues can tolerate ischemia, that is being without blood. Once the hand is detached from the donor, it has to be reattached to the recipient and the blood circulation has to be restored at the earliest so that all the muscles and all the tissues start getting the blood supply. Naturally, in a shoulder level transplant, the amount of muscle mass is much more. At a distal, say forearm level or a wrist level, the amount of tissues are relatively less and the muscular tissue is relatively less. So it can tolerate ischemia for a much longer time. So that is the main challenge. And the second challenge is of course the recovery time, because the distance of the target muscles from the site of the repair is much more. So it is going to take that long to recover. So the motivation has to be maintained till the time we are able to achieve a reasonable recovery.
Great. Now, Ritik, very inspiring in the story. I'm sure it will be motivating many people to, have a good, positive effect in their life. I wanted to understand.
Yeah, so the activity wise, I'm right now I can only do like laying down on bed and sitting by myself. Other than that, if I have to get up from the bed, I need these pouch, or I need help from my parents. And
Movements of the fingers.
hands are not there. I just have a tingling sensation when someone touches my hands. I not on the fingers, but on the biceps where the joint is meet. I felt. I mean, if someone touches, I felt tingling sensation on my biceps.
Now, for the future, what are your plans once you are completely recovered? Do you have any new plans which you would not have had if you would not have gone through this?
The dream which I always have to expand my father's business, and it's an core electrical field. I could not do any core job. That's why I choose my second option, that was IT. But if I mean I will shortly, but when I'm comfortable, I will definitely go back to my original dream.
So one thing is the awareness in the society, that people have to be aware that such things are happening and there are many people in need of such surgeries. With time, today people know of eye donation. Most of us know of eye donation. Most of us know that liver transplant, kidney transplants are required, they are happening on a regular basis. But at the same time, transplants like this can also be possible, and we can consider donating organs. Naturally, a family which is donating liver, kidney, heart, lungs, or eyes, if they are aware, they will also donate hands. So the awareness to some extent is lacking also within the medical fraternity, because ultimately the counseling or the decision making happens when the brain dead donor is identified. So at that time, if the counseling happens appropriately, I'm sure more people will be more than willing to donate their hands as well. because ultimately the family has come out with such a brave and generous decision at their difficult moment, and a body which is ultimately going to be burnt or buried, if it can be put to use of this type, naturally everybody would be grateful. And the biggest satisfaction that we have noted is that all the other transplants happen, they are internal transplants. Hands are something which you can visualize, you can feel, you can touch. And that sense of our person or our family member remaining alive on somebody else's body even after his actual death is something different. So it is just a matter of time that all these information keeps reaching the society in different forms time and again. That will eventually increase the awareness in the society.
And doctor, during the surgery, like both arms are
Yes, both arms at a time, because the clock is running. Since the time the hands are detached, the timer is on. So we have to be working simultaneously. So that actually adds up to the logistical challenges, because we are actually working in 4 teams initially, where the 2 donor hands are being prepared, the 2 recipient hands are being prepared, and then finally we come down to 2 teams working on both the sides.
And is it done through conventional surgery, or any robotics is also involved?
Not robotics, but microscope is involved. All these repairs of the critical structures, the blood vessels, the nerves are done under operating microscope.
Thank you.
टेस्ट लगा कि बच्चा जिएगा कैसे, लेकिन वो बहुत हिम्मत वाला है और उसने बहुत मेहनत करी और यहाँ तक पहुँच गया। ईश्वर की कृपा है और सब लोगों की दुआ है, और मैं कुछ नहीं कह पाऊँ।
नमस्कार, मैं आप सभी का धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा कि आप सभी के आशीर्वाद से मेरे बेटे ने बच्चे की तरह इसको अवेयरनेस करके रखा। कुछ नहीं होगा, कुछ नहीं होगा, सब अच्छा होगा। आज मैं सभी डॉक्टर, सभी सिस्टर, सभी ऑफिस स्टाफ और सबका दिल से धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ, और मेरे बेटे को नई जिंदगी देने के लिए